Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
This is absolutely wild, and we need to talk about what's happening right now because the New York Mets are on the verge of something massive. I'm talking franchise altering, division shaking, championship caliber massive. And if you're a Mets fan, you need to pay attention to every single word I'm about to say because this could be the moment everything changes. Steve Cohen just dropped a tweet that has everyone buzzing. Let me know when you see smoke. That's what he said. Now, if you've been following Steve Cohen at all over the past few years, you know exactly what that means. This isn't just some random tweet. This isn't Cohen being bored on a Tuesday afternoon. This is Steve Cohen basically telling the entire baseball world that something huge is about to happen, and all signs are pointing to one player, Kyle Tucker. For weeks now, the Mets have been circling Kyle Tucker like a shark circling prey. At first, it seemed like just another team throwing their hat in the ring. Then they became serious contenders. Then they became finalists. And now, based on everything we're seeing, it looks like they're about to close the deal. Kyle Tucker, one of the absolute best players in baseball, could be wearing a Mets uniform next season. Let that sink in for a second. Let's talk about what Kyle Tucker brings to the table because this isn't just some solid player we're discussing. This is a legitimate superstar who had what people are calling a down year, and he still put up a .266 batting average with an .841 OPS. Most players would kill for a down year like that. Tucker dealt with a wrist injury last season and played half his games in Wrigley Field as a lefty hitter, which isn't exactly ideal. But even with all that working against him, he was still one of the most productive hitters in baseball. When Kyle Tucker is fully healthy and locked in, he's a consistent threat for 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases. Actually, scratch that. He's a 40-30 threat because when he gets hot, the home runs come in bunches. He's got a gold glove to his name. His arm strength in the outfield is elite. His base running metrics are phenomenal. And across the board, his hitting metrics are well above average in almost every category. The only thing that dipped last year was his hard hit percentage. And again, that's directly tied to the wrist injury. Once he's healthy, that number goes right back up. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The Mets just made a move that basically confirms they're preparing to land Tucker. They traded lefty pitching prospect Franklin Gomez to the Cleveland Guardians for international free agent bonus pool money. Why would they do that? Because when you sign a player who received a qualifying offer, you forfeit international bonus pool money. The Mets are getting ahead of that by stockpiling more money now before they lose it. This isn't speculation anymore. This is the Mets actively preparing their roster for Kyle Tucker's arrival. Think about what this means for the Mets lineup. You'd have Juan Soto, Francisco Lindor, and Kyle Tucker as the core of your offense. That's three elite talents, three guys who can change a game with one swing. Three players who pitchers absolutely hate facing. Soto just came off a season where he finished third in MVP voting because he's Juan Soto, and that's what he does. Lindor is one of the best two-way players in baseball, and now you add Tucker into that mix. That's a murderer's row right there. That's the kind of lineup that keeps opposing managers up at night. Now I know what some people are thinking. Wait a minute, that's a lot of left-handed hitters. Soto bats left, Tucker bats left, Lindor switches, but primarily bats left. Isn't that a problem? And look, I get the concern. Having too many hitters from the same side can create matchup issues. But here's my response to that. Who cares? When your lefties are Juan Soto, Kyle Tucker, and Francisco Lindor, you're not worried about platoon splits. You're not benching these guys against tough lefties. These are three of the best hitters in baseball, regardless of what side the pitcher throws from. Plus, Lindor is a switch hitter anyway, so if they're facing a tough lefty, he can flip to the right side. Marcus Semien provides right-handed balance in the lineup. And if Carson Bench comes up and produces like everyone expects, you've got another right-handed bat in the mix. The talent level here far outweighs any concern about having too many lefties. I would much rather have an abundance of elite left-handed hitters than worry about not having enough right-handed options. Let's also talk about what this does to the National League East, because this isn't happening in a vacuum. The Philadelphia Phillies are sitting there watching the Mets load up. The Atlanta Braves are dealing with their own roster questions. And if the Mets land Kyle Tucker, they immediately become the team to beat in this division. You don't add Juan Soto 1 year and Kyle Tucker the next without making a serious run at a World Series. That's not how this works. Steve Cohen isn't spending all this money just to win 90 games and lose in the wild card round. He's building a championship roster, and Tucker is the next piece of that puzzle. And here's the thing that makes this even better. The Mets won't be done after Tucker. There are rumors swirling about Freddie Peralta. The Milwaukee Brewers are listening to offers, and the Mets have the prospect capital to make a deal happen. Imagine this rotation: Kodai Senga, when healthy, Freddie Peralta, and whatever other arms they can add. Pair that with the offense we just talked about, and you're looking at a complete team. You're looking at a team that can beat anyone in a playoff series. Now let's talk about what this means for Pete Alonso, because that's the elephant in the room. If the Mets sign Kyle Tucker, Pete Alonso is almost certainly not coming back. Tucker plays outfield, but his arrival signals that the Mets are moving in a different direction at first base. They've already added Jorge Polanco, who can play first. They're clearly comfortable moving forward without Alonso, which is a massive shift from where things stood just a few months ago. Alonso has been the face of this franchise for years, but if replacing him with Kyle Tucker and Polanco is the move, I'm completely on board with that. Think about it from a pure value perspective. Tucker is younger than Alonso. He provides more defensive versatility. He's elite on the base paths. And while Alonso hits for more power in a given season, Tucker provides more overall value because of everything else he does. The Mets would be upgrading the roster by making this swap, and that's what good teams do. They make tough decisions that improve the overall product on the field. Steve Cohen has shown over and over again that he's willing to spend whatever it takes to win. Last year it was Juan Soto. This year it looks like it's going to be Kyle Tucker. And honestly, landing the top free agent 2 years in a row is exactly the kind of statement a franchise like the Mets should be making. For too long, Mets fans had to watch their team settle for second-tier options while the Yankees and Dodgers signed the big names. Not anymore. Steve Cohen changed all of that, and now the Mets are the ones making the big splashes. I want to be clear about something, though. Nothing is official yet. Tucker hasn't signed. There's no press conference scheduled. No deal has been announced. But when Steve Cohen tweets about seeing smoke, that's about as close to a done deal as you can get without the actual paperwork being filed. Cohen doesn't troll like that unless he knows something is about to happen. He's not out here getting Mets fans excited for no reason. He knows what's coming, and he's giving everyone a heads up. So where does this leave us? The Mets are on the verge of landing one of the best players in baseball. They've already made the moves to prepare for his arrival. They have the financial resources to get it done. And they have an owner who is absolutely committed to building a championship team. If Kyle Tucker signs with the Mets, this offseason goes from solid to absolutely elite. You add Tucker to a lineup that already has Soto and Lindor, and suddenly you're talking about one of the most dangerous offenses in baseball. The next 24 to 48 hours are going to be massive. Tucker's going to make his decision soon, and all the smoke signals are pointing toward the Mets. Steve Cohen doesn't tweet cryptic messages unless he's confident. David Stearns doesn't trade for international bonus pool money unless he knows he's about to lose it. Everything is lining up perfectly, and Mets fans should be absolutely pumped about what's about to happen. This is the moment. This is what Steve Cohen's ownership was always supposed to look like. Now let's see if they can close the deal and bring Kyle Tucker to Queens. If they do, the National League better watch out, because the Mets are coming, and they're bringing an absolute monster lineup with them.